Anyone else get emotional when Jack got emotional? I don't know, something about seeing a puppy cry. It just makes you feel bad. Anyway, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly Beastars Season 2 discussion videos. Today we're here to talk all about Episode 4. If you get too close, our fur will get tangled. But before we get into the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet, to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, and let all of AniTube know that you're here. So, this week, I want to talk, I think the first thing I want to mention is probably just the whole Jack and Legosi scene, I think. I don't know why, but that really made me sad. Just the whole, like, the fact that Jack and Legosi have known each other for so long that Jack could just tell by the sounds Legosi was making when he tried to call that, like, he needed tissues. Like, that he was having a runny nose or something. Meanwhile, he was having a runny nose, but it was also bloody nose. But just that's how long that they've been together, that he can just pick up on subtle cues and stuff like that. And Jack does everything he can to look after Legosi, even though at this point in their friendship, Legosi's so much stronger and bigger and faster and, like, more well capable of handling himself, but Jack still feels the need to protect his boy. Even though at this point it's more like Legosi would be protecting Jack, but Jack still wants to be there for Legosi. And when he gets there and he's all beaten up to hell, and we'll get into that, but when he gets there and he's like, what the hell happened? Right? And he had the same reaction as me, as I was like, what the hell was that? Like, Legosi got hit by a walking dump truck. Like, holy crap, that dude was strong. But, yeah, you just see Jack, like, immediately rush to him, and he's like, Legosi, don't die. Legosi's like, I'm not dying. Help me out of this. Like, I'm fine. I'm hurt, but I'm fine. Like, I'm in a bad way, but I'm not dying. And just that whole scene just made me emotional. I don't know why. Just Jack at the fence in particular just kills me. Because to me, it's just the fact that Jack, all he wants is for Legosi to be happy. Like, he even says that. Like, he even says, like, for as awkward as you are, all I've ever wanted you to be is happy. And the stronger you get, the more miserable you become. And he's not wrong. He's really not wrong. Jack has a point. The stronger Legosi has gotten over the show, the more and more drama unfolds around him, to the point where it's almost inevitable that Legosi's going to keep going through turmoil after turmoil and drama through drama. And at this point, like, he's gotten the ever-living hell knocked out of him, which, again, we'll get into in just a sec. But the fact that Jack says, like, the stronger you get, the more miserable you become, and Legosi just fires back with, my strength was never meant to make me happy, right? Like, I was never meant to use my strength for personal gain, right? With great power comes great responsibility. At least, you know, in this sense. And seeing Legosi and Jack have that moment where Jack even says, like, I feel like you've been so far from me for so long. What if this time, like, are you not coming back? Like, what if this time you don't come back? You're not coming back this time, I can tell. And Legosi's like, no. I don't think Legosi will actually not come back. Like, I do think the show's going to end with the characters at Cherryton again. Like, I don't think that they're all just gonna not go to school anymore. But the idea that, like, I think what Jack means is just, you keep metaphorically leaving me. And I think he's just nervous that one day he's gonna get left behind, and I don't think Jack wants that. You know, he wants to hold on to his friend, and it's so sad. It's so sad. Just sad Jack was like, oh, that's not what I wanted. I didn't want to see that at all. You never want to see a sad puppy dog. That's not quite right at all. And just the whole thing. Jack is a character we don't get to spend as much time with, but I like how quick he is on his feet, how clever he is. Like, hearing sounds from the phone, he was able to pinpoint where Legosi would be, and he rushes to his side, tries to get Legosi to go see the school nurse, but Legosi's like, no, I gotta go. I know where I'm going. You can't know about it. Which makes sense. Like, Jack would not want to know about that kind of place. But still, it's just like, I get where Jack's coming from, where it's like, why won't you let me in? Like, I'm your friend. Like, let me know about what you're doing. But meanwhile, Legosi's like, no, because you're my friend, I can't let you know what I'm doing. It's yeah, it was sad times. I also definitely want to get into Legosi versus whoever the hell. Like that, the whole thing, like the fact that the opening scene is with Tem is very telling, right? Because it's like, okay, you could tell Powders like wants you to have Tem in your head because whoever this is clearly whoever killed Tem, right? Like, and the fact that Tem has that moment with Legosi in the flashback, and Legosi saying like, what's the difference between alpaca fur or wool and llama wool? And he's like, oh, alpaca's is a lot softer, right? And you're like, oh, like, and Legosi feels, and he's like, because like Tem even says like, here, go ahead, feel. Right? So he's like, okay. And he's like, oh, wow, right? And it's like, yeah, and like you see how willing Tem was to let carnivores into his world, right? And we've seen it through his journal that like him and Legosi were friends. Like they weren't super close or anything, but he liked Legosi and Legosi liked Tem. And it was Louis who told him that like you need to be close with them because like the carnivores and the herbivores need to know that it's like that this is fine and that we can coexist, and knowing what ultimately became of Tem is like really sad because every time that they flash back to Tem, he's a good kid and it's sad to see what happens to him. And then to see what happens to our boy is even worse, right? Because, okay, think about it like this. Tem is a lot smaller than Legosi, but Legosi was a lot smaller than whoever the hell that was. And if that's the case, then, like, holy shit, dude. Like, Tem had no chance. Like, that is some scary shit. That is some absolutely terrifying shit. And like the absolute ass whooping that our boy receives is uncalled for. I never want to see Legosi go through that shit. That is uncalled for. I will have none of it. None of it. But yeah, like Legosi getting his ass beat was a surprise because Legosi's usually such an ass kicker. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's weird. But again, like it hammers home, like Legosi doesn't really know how to fight, right? Like Legosi's gotten lucky a number of times, but he doesn't super know how to fight. So I do like that he decides to go to Goheen and be like, I need you to teach me how to fight. And Goheen's like, no, right? But then he eventually decides, yeah, and that's why you see this screenshot. But Goheen's like, okay, fine. I will teach you how to fight. But first you got to prove to me that you're able to take a punishment. And then you see like the chair like attaches Legosi to the chair, and then friggin' Goheen pulls out like a sickle, and then Legosi just freaking screams, and I'm like, oh, oh no. I don't know what's happening, but I know it's probably not very pleasant. Hey, as you can see, we are in the Wastelands, which judging by Dragon Ball Z can only mean one thing. We are about to scrap. Unless you hit that subscribe button. Thank you. Last thing I want to talk about this week's episode. Louis as the leader of the Shishigumi. See, I said it right this time. There you go. No more Leo group. Shishigumi from now on. Louis as the leader of the Shishigumi. The fact that he saves that one woman from being eaten by that tiger, right, is like, that's such a sign of power, right? And he's like, it's like, the one thing I hate more than carnivores who try to kill me is the carnivores who look down, who look down on me, or who pity me, and then the herbivores who come to mock me. Meanwhile, he's like, I came to save you, dumbass, right? Like, and then, hey, boss, and then like Louis like, yeah, what is it? And the girl's like, huh? Like the girl's just shocked by that, and you see Louis having full control over the Shishigumi at this point, right? And things are starting to turn. The Shishigumi even saying to the club manager, hey, like we fight for the weak and we crush the strong. Like that's the new motto now. And the Shishigumi really like have sort of taken up this sort of Robin Hood-esque type, like Robin Hood and his merry band type of role in the black market now. But Goheen still seems sort of like uneasy about the whole thing. And I do appreciate that. I appreciate that Goheen's like, no, they're still bad. Like there's still something about them that's off and that I don't trust. And I don't blame him for being that way. We had like all last like for the entire last few episodes of the first season, they were the bad guys. So I get why he's like, no, I still don't trust them. There's something about them that makes me uneasy. And we know that at the very least, like, their intentions have become a lot more genuine than they used to be. Like, with Louis at their side, like, they are still, like, eating meat and everything. It's not like that's stopped. Because, you know, it'd be like that when it be like that. Lions gotta eat meat. But, and Louis even says, like, you guys continue to enjoy your meals. Like, it's not a big deal. My stomach's smaller. I'm gonna go. Right? And it, like, I don't necessarily think that they're totally, like, clear-cut bad, but I also don't think they're clear-cut good either, you know? Like, the Shishigumi definitely are, like, a gray area in the show, along with Louis himself at this point. But I appreciate that they still make Louis sort of fragile while still being strong, right? Like Louis commands a lot of respect, and when he's on screen, he demands, he demands your attention. His presence is overwhelming when he's in the room. But they still make him sort of fragile in a way. Almost like a delicate tornado. You know what I mean? Like, he is insanely powerful when it comes to his presence, but he is not capable of eating the meat that is presented to him. And he's been, like, living off vitamins, and he's getting thinner. And I believe his name is Ibuki? I don't remember. The one lion with the glasses, who I really like, by the way. I like this character a lot. The lion with the glasses comes in, Ibuki, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Ibuki comes in and says, like, dude, like, I bought this for you. It's okay. Like, at this point, you're more than just the leader of the Shishigumi now. And it's true. Like, Louis is becoming something more. Like, there's something, like, he's becoming a force within the black market that is different to anything I think that the black market has seen before. And I do think, even though his intentions are sort of gray, I think ultimately the Shishigumi being the way they are now is only a benefit to the black market. And the fact that it ends with friggin' Juno showing up was a surprise. And they're like, there's a wolf outside. And Louis like, a wolf? Right? And I'm thinking, like, did Legosi find out, like, where he is? Like, how did he do that? And then it was Juno. I'm like, how did she find out where he is? Crazy. I think Louis, again, I've said it before that, like, Legosi is, like, he is goodest boy, you know? Like, he is like, the bestest of boys. But Louis will always be the more interesting between the two. Like, as much as I love Legosi to pieces, and I do find Legosi interesting, Louis' whole arc is just so fascinating, and having him as the leader of a bunch of friggin', like, lions is a really cool idea, and I can't tear myself away from how interesting I find Louis at this point. And with that said, everybody, that is going to wrap up today's video here, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, and let all of AniTube know that you're here. And before we go, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names, and hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are two ways to do so. The first is by hitting that join button right beside the sub button. That gets you a badge next to your name, some emotes to spam in the comments, and of course your name scrolling past the screen here. Or you can go ahead and check out that Patreon link in the description. Either way, it is super appreciated. So once again, a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron, and that is it for me. So until next time, you stay classy, AniTube. You wash your dang hands, and I don't know, that salad looked delicious. I kind of want a salad now.